Hello there everyone and welcome along. Good to have you here as we check out Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Now I've always liked Vampire as a setting. If you don't know the world of darkness, definitely worth looking into. But Vampire itself as part of the world of darkness is a world filled with subterfuge and deception. A dark world behind the one that the everyday person sees. And this is a really, really colourful scenario where vampires, werewolves and other beasts of the night go about their lives. For a tabletop role-playing game, which is what I believe it started as, it's been adapted a number of times with Vampire, the Masquerade Bloodlines, and there was another one, Redemption, I think, as well. So it's had a number of different video game adaptations. There's been a ton of books as well, and of course there's the role-playing game. This is probably going to be more of a storytelling adventure, but let's hop on in and see what it's all about. Okay, so the different clans have, well, different, let's say, backstories is a good way of doing it. It normally sets up within the role-playing game itself the kind of skills that your character can do, but also the kind of career that they have. So the Bruja, the rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. Seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Or Ventru, these are like the true like highbrow aristocrats. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Or Toreador, these divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. I mean, they're generally pretty cool. I'm going to go with Bruja. I really like Toreador as a clan. But, I mean, if this doesn't say Daywalkers, then I honestly don't know what it... Is he got... He's wearing paper clips as earrings. We've got to get this guy killed. What are we going to call ourselves? Balathor. That's a good name. A good name for a would-be vampire. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. We are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen for a little longer. You see, my mistake was I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was never to see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, a spark in the eye. The one you need to be born with. That's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within me and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided it would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed showing me a peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggarts and see them for what they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying you're eternally doomed to being at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it, if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologise for it. But it's so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much. Don't get that wrong. But it is precisely because I value that I'm going to ask you to repay the favour you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think you won't get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. So a little bit of backstory. The hidden society of vampires all over the world, they have very strict rules and doctrine that their society follows. They're divided up into areas which are ruled by, I guess, vampire nobility is a good way of calling them. There's the prince who's in charge of the area, and the sheriff who is their basic lawkeeper, and everyone else has to toe the line. And there's certain, what's the best way of putting it? Traditions that have to be upheld. Laws that must be kept, should not be broken. Right now, fate's smiling in your favour. This is how it begins. The music is pounding, and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that makes you feel alive, even though it started with you feeling dead. First came the messy breakup. Then the realisation you've no one to talk to about how much it sucked. Still, you decided to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later, and you found just the thing for your malaise. A short subway ride, and you find yourself at the club just outside Dumbo. Not a fancy one, mind you. More like a slightly refurbished warehouse. But hey, at least the drinks are cheap. The DJ seems to really know his shit too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit crowd pleasers, expertly feeling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then 2. Usually, you'd feel awkward coming to a place like this alone, but tonight, you feel something soothing in joining the crowd, blending in, even as you allow the beat to take over. Sweat, yours and other people's, soaks through your shirt and pants in a matter of minutes. A thought pops into your head. From the outside, the fully packed club must seem like a stuffy, smelly nightmare, but here, in the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. And you're not even on a pill tonight. There's this Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you it only seems incidental. Yeah, it's a good night. You wish it could last forever because you know all too well what the next day holds. Waking up, getting dressed for work, the commute, the 9-to-5 grind that will make you just enough money to pay the rent and keep living in your overpriced shithole of an apartment. And with Jessica moving out, it will be all coming out of your pocket. You run some quick calculations in your head and immediately come to regret that you did. Never mind. You spot the Latina again. She's now next to another guy hitting it off. Chance of not going to bed alone? Gone. Just like that. Fuck. Your mood temporarily shot down, you leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. Take a look in the mirror and start to wash your face, obsessively, over and over again. A voice from the past echoes in your mind. I've never felt like this with anyone. Seriously, I mean it. I feel like all my relationships up to this point were test runs. A shitty way to compensate for my low self-esteem. Like the Sister Slave t-shirt. But this feels right. Finally. Shut up, Jess. This was the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light. What do you mean cops took the lighter? There's one in your mouth. Just shut the hell up. This is not you. Not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so like you, acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to open up. You think you're impressing people with this tough guy act? Fuck you. I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like the Jessica of today. You raise your head and look in the mirror. You try to smile, but all you can muster is a self-pitying grin. And there she is, the Latina from before. says, "You look like you need a drink." You hesitate for a second or two and then blurt out a surprisingly enthusiastic, "Yeah." You start to talk, and it quickly becomes evident that she's into politics, and you are eager to please. You might be a corporate drone, but you spend a lot of evenings reading theory. Actual theory, not bastardized Twitter cliff notes. And organising all that manners of causes online. The status quo sucks. There must be something better. She agrees. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories, have compatible ideas about the DSA's missteps, even watch the same YouTube channels. Your goals are aligned. She's a bit more radical than you'd have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounds like she broke her share of faces and kicked more than a couple of cops in the nuts over the course of her activist career. Her zeal is infectious. She taps into pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for you both, so you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Tattoo. Of course, you chuckle to yourself, trying not to slip into bad headspaces. She chuckles along with you. It's chilly outside, but soon enough you find yourself too invested in listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realise you've been holding hands for a while. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intently at his own feet. Plenty of room to stretch out, and yet she sits right next to you. You can feel her thigh pressing into yours, her breath on the side of your neck. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking if she'd like to crash at your place. "I've got a better idea," she says. At this point, you're down for anything as long as it lets you spend just a few more minutes with her. She takes you to a sleazy motel in the Bronx, trading a few words with the balding, tired-looking guy at the front desk. He hands her a key. Still holding her hand, the woman leads you up the stairs. Man, this place looks like a dive. The room you end up in is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flaking paint and sticky floor. Not that it matters though. The moment you step through the door, she's on you. You try to take the lead, but she's having none of it. Before you know it, you feel a rickety bed pressing against your back. It's sloppy, fun, fierce, and not once does she lose the initiative. Your hands reach under her t-shirt. Strange. It didn't look like she was cold outside, but now her skin feels eerily cool. As if sensing your confusion, she slaps your hands off her. She kisses your neck, and you're overwhelmed by the sensation. Darkness. The taste of liquid fire and smoke on your tongue. A voice saying, "Sorry, kid. I did what I had to do to leave this city in one piece. But don't worry. With my blood and your principles, you're going to do just fine." She slams the motel door behind her as she leaves. You lie helpless on the soiled, pungent mattress for some time. Minutes, hours, before you can focus enough to try and piece together your evening. It hits you. The big hunger. It grips you by the throat and makes your insides shrivel in terror. It's an all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You crawl for a while, squirm on the floor in sundering pain, then jump to your feet and burst out the door. You black out. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Somebody curses at you. A small, naked, buff dude holding a short leather whip. Wow, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch. He yells out several slurs. He hits you in the jaw. You black out again. The guy isn't moving anymore. There's blood on his neck. There's blood on his arms. There's blood on the floor. There's blood everywhere. Wow, whoever did this is one sick puppy. You realise that you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is there. A woman. Her arms are tied to the bed frame, an eye mask over her face, red marks on her back. Oh, she was getting the whipping. This time you see it happen. You want to stop but can't. She almost manages to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. You could swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Suddenly terrified, You tear away from her. She's not moving, but she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though. You double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but can only gag. Panic sets in as another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put 2 fingers to your wrist, but feel no pulse. Same thing on the neck. Nothing. There's no breath coming out of your mouth. You have to get out. Get someone to call an ambulance. For yourself, at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? Oh, hello. Now that is a very nonplussed face. Tisk. What a mess. You look up. The door to the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. This is not what it looks like. Well, that's good to hear, because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're in a world of trouble. He surveys the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder, assault, that's 25 to life if you're lucky, but since you're not, it's a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night, otherwise I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours, you don't want to be around here when it does. Yeah, let's go with I need a doctor. Screw the sun, man, I need a doctor. A doctor will do you about as good as an undertaker at this point. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm, oddly enough. You find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now, listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. And going by experience, they tend to fall into 2 categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word, and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody, secretly, and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. You cross me 3 times, and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realise it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes, and you're out. Say, I understand, sir, now. You've never been too eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. The man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. I know better than to go against a guy like this, so let's go with I understand, sir. I understand, sir. Well, glad we have an understanding. Moving on, is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you? Yeah, we should tell him about Jessica. Jessica, my ex-girlfriend. She kinda hates my guts, but yeah, I suppose it'd be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. The closest person in your life hates your guts? This time, something resembling a look of pity. He turns his eyes to the corpse on the floor. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let her know you're alright, give me her phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. and this will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, a man hides it in his pocket. From this point on, you're subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You're forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation and stares deep into your eyes. So unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I'd suggest you cooperate. He proudly displays his fangs again. You've put Jess in danger, god damn it. I can only hope you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but by now it's obvious. He hates your guts as much as you hate his. He's itching for a fight and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's enough lecturing for today. We're on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do so in the blink of an eye. Just so that we're clear, I have the authority to end you right here, right now, and this is not an idle threat. So are you going to play along? Or do we have to do it the hard way? I think we'll follow him like a puppy. You weigh your chances, but it doesn't look promising. The guy's fit, determined, and looks like he means business. You, on the other hand, are confused, exhausted, and on the verge of a panic attack. Yeah, fine, I'll go with you. He almost looks disappointed. A wise decision. Follow me, please, and close the door behind you. You take one final look at the woman who's just coming to, at the body on the ground. This is fucked. Absolutely fucked. You pull the handle and close the door. The man leads you downstairs. You contemplate signalling the bald guy at the front desk, but he's too busy watching some 90s action flick on small, ancient-looking TV. He seems totally oblivious to your presence. You hear a dejected Jean-Claude Van Damme say, "I just want to go home," as you're walking by. Your would-be kidnapper stops by the door and addresses you before opening it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, as soon as he opens the door, I'm making a run for it. Maybe I can outrun him. I'll save you the trouble. You can't. You can either get inside my car, and I'll get you where you need to be, or you can try something stupid that you'll regret later. Do I make myself clear? Well, this is another test, of course. Clear as day. We don't need to ask why he won't turn us in. He's a vampire. That's why he won't turn us in. Day. He opens the door and gestures to a black Cadillac Escalade parked right outside the building. After you. Yeah, we're going to get inside the car. Following the stranger's instructions, you make your way to the car and get in the passenger seat. The door locks behind you. Inside the Cadillac is almost entirely dark. Side windows seem light-proof. Man gets in the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. Oh, look at those eyes. Yeah, let's ask if the obvious. This is the afterlife, isn't it? You're not entirely wrong, but it's not what you think. He weighs his next words carefully. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not in the mood to wax poetic about the state you're in, or my role in tonight's events. Just remember, if you want to survive the next 24 hours, you'll have to play along. This is a nightmare. This is all a fucking nightmare. The stranger smirks. Understand that this is for your own good. Times being what they are, you should consider yourself lucky. You drive in silence for about 20 more minutes, as exhaustion catches up with you. The streetlights fade into a blur. Eventually, the car stops and the doors open. You emerge from your dreamlike state and find yourself in some kind of underground parking garage. You two are the only ones here. The man points to a nearby door. Go on in, make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room. No windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling air conditioning fan in the wall. Guess I'm gonna have to trust you. Guess I've got no choice. It took you this long to figure out? Remember when I said you were lucky? I meant it. See, my job is to get rid of problems. But I'm not always this polite about it. This time, I was specifically told to mind my manners. So believe me when I tell you, considering how this night could have turned out, being stuck in here for a night is a really good deal. Now get in or I'll throw you in. You step inside and the stranger nods. Good night. He closes the door behind you. It looks sturdy, but as he's locking it, you notice claw marks all over. Looks like some previous guests weren't satisfied with their stay. You decide not to dwell on it and check the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid. No label. Tomato soup? No, it's not. You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. You can't help but think it looks exactly like the one back at the hotel with the bound woman. Oh right, you killed a man tonight. Or did you? Maybe none of this is real. Maybe it's all an elaborate prank. Girl at the club, Jess might have put her up to it. The tall guy's clearly on it too. Now he's back with them and they're all laughing their asses off. You don't know what to think anymore. Your mind races, but you're too tired to keep it going. Finally, you tense up one last time before drifting away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels. The room is unchanged, the lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, and the refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch, it's almost 9 PM. You slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify you as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge, the bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its colour and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff, and you recognise the smell immediately. Holy shit, there's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... no, not almost. It is enticing. Yeah, let's drink this. Look at the little... fangs or moons. Alright, fangs we are. Feels wrong. But right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. It reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavour to register as what it claims to be on the box. But nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had last time. You swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird messed up way you can't help but think it feels nourishing. Take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. And eventually you find you've emptied it entirely. All, you have a look at the info pressed into the side of the bag. 450ml of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realise your body longs for that intoxication high you felt when... an image of the corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, making sense of it all when you hear the lock click and you see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tamed hawk, maybe? Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. I did. You got any more? No. I don't expect sustenance to be this easy to find the next time. Come on, we've got places to be. Car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you've spent the day in. The man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. Yeah, let's just get inside. I'm trusting you here, man. I'm touched. Sincerely. You take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to capture a glimpse of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of a traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. No, he's not. He's looking at us. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door's locked alright. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realise now that you're hungry. No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts... yeah, so this is, I'm assuming, if we hadn't already gone through this. Spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realise you prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it. You spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe? After me. No sudden movements, please. And that's where we're going to finish this. So, as you can see, it's a very, very rich storytelling game. There is obviously a decision tree going on, and how we're choosing to interact will affect how we go through this tale. And I'm absolutely loving the animated backgrounds for this. So this has been Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to give a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so, and you'll be told when the next video goes up. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping on in, everyone.